AITA for not forcing my family to share their inheritance with my children? Long-time lurker, reader, first-time poster. Throwaway account. 41 meters. Have 2 kids, 14 meters and 16F, with my ex, Tammy, 37F. And according to the divorce decree, neither one of us can take the kids out of state without prior written consent from the other. This was fine for the most part, as neither Tammy nor I had any desire to go through any more hassle of co-parenting than we already do. However, my father recently passed away. It wasn't a shock because he was sick for a long time, so while I was sad he was gone, I was also relieved he wasn't suffering anymore. About 50 years ago, my father came to America, got an education, and made something of himself but always missed his home country. When it was determined that there was nothing more that could be done for him, my father wanted to spend his last year in his home country. My sister happily obliged my father's wishes and quit her job to go with him and help with his care. My brother, other sister, and I also took at least one trip over to see him. Then the holidays came around, and my father really wanted to see all of his grandchildren together one last time. My brother and other sister were able to bring their kids over, but when I brought this up to Tammy, 3 months ago, she said she'd think about it. I gave her as much time as I could, but flights overseas during the holidays were expensive, so when I asked her again, Tammy said she needed more time. I asked how much more time did she need, and that led to a fight, and Tammy ended up saying she wouldn't agree. She also got to my kids and said that they didn't want to go either, citing that they didn't speak the language and how they shouldn't have to be inconvenienced just because their grandfather decided to leave the country. I was upset but let it go, and I could tell my dad was a little hurt that the kids didn't come. He tried to video chat them twice but got no response. We had one final dinner together where my dad made a speech about how grateful he was for his family and discussed his will. Aside from my sister who took care of him, the majority of his financial estate would go to his grandkids, and he would be leaving the rest of us sentimental things, which we were all cool with. He passed a few weeks later, and at the reading of the will, my brother and other sister's kids got a decent-sized trust fund, whereas my kids weren't mentioned at all. I did bring this up once, and my sister said our dad was really hurt that he wasn't worth a video call in his final moments and only opted to leave them sentimental items. When my kids found out, they were furious, and Tammy demanded that I sue my sister and or my nieces and nephews, but I refused. My kids see this as me putting someone else before them as well as punishing them for not agreeing to go, but I don't see it that way. AITA?